and welcome to this episode of Season 6 of the Dr. Tech Show, where myself, Pauline Roche, and Sweyn Hunter, and often guests, but not today, talk about digital topics, including the world of online communications and digital inclusion, in a show which was the brainchild of digital storyteller, the late and much missed John Popham. Sweyn, the weather where you are today and last week, how was it?
The weather, well, I can't remember what it was like last week, but today it's bright and crisp and sunny, so that's great.
Good. And here in County Clare, there's clouds in the sky, but I can also see blue, and it's nice, bright light coming in the window. So I'm pleased with that. It has been
Hmm.
raining though. We've had torrential rain over the last week,
Oh dear.
so you have to really drive slowly when you're driving, so you don't
Yeah, yeah.
skate on water and stuff. But yeah, I've been doing that, driving very carefully. I did when I was coming home from Ennis last night. There was a tree down actually across the road, so
Oh,
I wondered if I should report it to the authorities. So I didn't phone the emergency number because I didn't think it was an emergency, but I did
no.
phone the county council to let them
Hmm.
know. So hopefully they've looked after that now.
No, it's not good having trees across the road.
No, indeed. So, what dates have we got for us today?
Well, I've got one main date today, and it is the initiative that is called 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence. And this runs from tomorrow, uh, which is International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, until the 10th of December, which is Human Rights Day. And every year there are these 16 days to focus on attempts to reduce and eliminate gender-based violence. So this year, the theme is Open the Door, Take a Stand, and End Violence. And it's a call for global solidarity to end violence against women and girls everywhere. Uh, it's a major public health and human rights crisis affecting 1 in 3 women in their
Mm,
lifetime. The risks increase even further in contexts of humanitarian crises, uh, climate vulnerable settings, and poverty. And behind every statistic lies the story of a woman or girl whose health, safety, and rights have been violated. Yet, violence against women is preventable. Across the world, communities are challenging unequal gender norms, governments are strengthening policies and laws, and health systems are stepping up to provide care and support for survivors. And in this year's campaign, it highlights the new Violence Against Women 2023 estimates produced by the World Health Organization. These estimates and statistics are always a couple of years behind, don't they?
mm,
Which is on behalf of the UN Violence Against Women Interagency Working Group on Estimation and Data, and the second edition of the Respect Women Prevention Framework, launching on the 19th of November, and which together provide the latest evidence and practical guidance for governments, health systems, and communities to act. There's a lot of statistics here. I'll just skim through one or two of
mm,
them. It's a global crisis with little change over the past 2 decades. And in the last 12 months alone, 11% ever partnered women aged 15 years and older experienced physical and/or sexual violence by an intimate partner. And despite decades of commitment, progress remains slow on this, with only a 0.2% annual decline in prevalence.
mm,
Um, Violence against women starts early and persists across the whole of life. Around 16% of adolescent girls, 15 to 19-year-olds, have experienced intimate partner violence in the last 12 months alone, and between 4 and 5% of older women, 60 plus, have faced it as well. Yet these age groups often remain invisible in data and policy responses.
mm,
So one of the events that's happening is a very local event to me, which has been organised by the Orkney Rape and Sexual Assault Service, or ORSAS, which is a great organisation locally, who invite you, if you're in Orkney, to join us on Tuesday, the 25th of November, which is the first day of the 16 days, to mark the start of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And what they're going to do is they're going to plant what they call PD birds. PD is an Orkney word for little.
mm.
So they're going to plant a little bird thing to represent those affected by gender-based violence in our community. I think the idea is that each bird represents an individual who has suffered violence.
Mm.
And as it gets dark, St Magnus Cathedral will be lit up in orange for the International Day of Elimination of Violence Against Women and Girls. So that's between 12 and 2 p.m. on Tuesday, the 25th of November, which is tomorrow, as we
Excellent.
broadcast now live. And finally, on this, I think that Tuesday is also White Ribbon Day, and this is my white ribbon here.
Mm,
And this is an initiative which focuses on men as the main source of violence against women and girls,
mm,
and is a movement worldwide started in Canada many years ago to have men stand up for ending violence and sexism wherever they encounter it. And this year, I'm showing the UK page, the England and Wales page here. There's a
mm,
separate Scotland page and a separate Northern Ireland page, and it says letting sexism slide puts women and girls at risk. Sexist jokes, catcalling, staring, and comments might seem harmless, but they are serious because they can lead to violence and abuse. This White Ribbon Day, we want more men to use their voices and speak up to create a world where everyone is safe, equal, and respected. Every time we ignore something that doesn't feel right, we miss a chance to set a better example. And in Scotland, there's a pledge that men are invited to make, which is that I pledge never to commit, condone, or remain silent about violence against women in all its forms. And these are the areas. These are the areas in Scotland that have a white ribbon project set up, which is mostly it's aimed at men to raise awareness of what counts as violence against women, emotional and sexual and physical, and to encourage men to kind of not condone stuff
mm,
that they encounter in their everyday life, in the hope that that can make a difference, um, while uh, while governments and women's groups and everybody else also work towards this. So
yes.
mm, um, that is the date that I've picked today, and I've gone on
Mm.
about it for ages. So I will
I
stop.
know, no, it's good. I mean, I think, men and women need to work together
Yeah, for
to
sure.
tackle um, gender-based violence, and because it's bad for all of us. Like any oppressive
Exactly.
experience, it doesn't harm just the person at the receiving end. It harms the person um the end of the the oppressor end,
Yes,
because it makes them less human, you know. So
absolutely. And it
we
also
don't
it
want that.
also affects boys are whose mothers or sisters or other friends are harmed. That
Mm,
has an effect on particularly boys and also to some extent men as well. And
mm,
I actually went on a day-long kind of, it turned out to be a training course. I didn't realize that it was a training course when I went on it, about the White Ribbon campaign. And there's a huge amount of resources available for taking this sort of thing into the workplace, into football clubs, into all sorts of different contexts where historically men's behavior towards women has been dreadful to poor. Could put it that way.
mm,
And also, it's quite careful as to how it slots itself in among all the other initiatives that are going on that are led by women or governments or local authorities or whatever. There's a place for this um, campaign focused on men, but it's only one part of a much wider um, um, activity,
mm,
much of which in other areas is led rightly by women. And
yeah. It's
yeah,
good to
so
hear
that's
about
it.
that thoughtfulness, because yeah, it's good not to take the agency away from women and girls,
That's right.
but to see ourselves
That's
as
right.
part of
It's
part of a
allyship.
collective. Yeah, exactly. In its
Yeah.
best form. Yeah.
In the yeah in the same ways we can be allies um, to other conditions that
Mm,
don't affect us
mm,
personally.
yeah.
So there we are.
Great.
Maybe we should move on to.
Yeah.
There'll be something for next week as well on this, I'm sure. But
I'm sure.
because this actually spans 3 of our Mondays this year,
Mm,
so we can have a
yeah.
little something each
Yeah.
time.
Good. Good to
So
keep
you
reminding
might want to
people.
move on to events.
Yes. Um,
with the trick that I've added one that you may not have noticed.
oh, okay, I'll look out for
But you
that.
do yours first.
So this is also happening tomorrow. It's the a session called Digital Confidence Training. And when I look for these sessions, to bring them to people's attention on the program, it's good to see that oh, you've got cybersecurity up at the moment, Swain.
Is that not the right
Um,
one?
no, digital confidence training. This one
Oh,
is at Chichester
okay.
District Council Conference Room 1. It's good to see confidence kind of going alongside literacy and skills and stuff. So it's recognizing that confidence is one of the main things that we need to address for people's uh you know ability to have a better life online. It is about confidence and being able to um confidently do stuff. So, and what I really liked about this one, I'll read the blurb and then we can talk a little bit about it.
Hmm.
It's free digital skills training to anyone who wants to increase their own digital confidence and help support others. And that was for me, that was the key thing that jumped out. Not just getting help yourself, but helping to help others. Whether you're looking to improve your own digital skills or gain the knowledge needed to assist others in the community, this fully funded and completely free training is a great opportunity to build your expertise in navigating the digital world. It says the training will help you develop online skills that can benefit your personal and professional life, build online confidence, protect yourself from fraud and scams in the digital world, and networking. And it says this training is perfect for anyone who wants to enhance their digital literacy while also making a positive impact on others. And that's a difference I haven't seen in previous sessions of this kind where you might be receiving training, but you also might be wanting to help other people. As we know, whenever I do talks, and I'm sure you do this from time to time as well, I always
Hmm.
ask people in the audience, have you ever helped somebody online? Have you ever helped somebody, recover a password, log into a system, do some shopping online, find out something they were looking for, and everybody can put their hands up to that. So I said, now, you're all digital champions, you're all able to help somebody. Um, so I think even people who feel less that they know less than somebody else always know a little bit more than another person. So it's like those social media surgeries that Nick Booth, Lord rest him, and others used to help run, and I used to help run them myself, where you could be a social media surgeon in a social media surgery as long as you knew a little bit more than the person you were trying to help. And here again with digital, if you know a little bit and you can help somebody, then great. And if you can get some training to help build that confidence to keep doing it, then good on you.
Great.
Who have you helped online recently, Swain? I'm sure you've helped more than one
Recently,
person
oh, can't think. Recently,
in the last
can't
year.
really think. Can't really think.
Mm,
What I was going to say was that I think also, even if you don't know very much more than the other person, just providing a space where someone can go through it almost
mm,
themselves
yeah.
without panicking, knowing that there's a support there to do that, that actually can get people uh, some of the way
Mm,
themselves, just by
mm,
simply being there and kind of almost just listening to the thoughts that they're going through.
yeah.
Obviously, the more you know, the more you can help. But
Mm,
even if you don't know an awful lot, you can still be a great help
yeah.
where confidence is concerned.
Absolutely.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Good. So that's tomorrow, and also tomorrow at the Elgin Youth Cafe, which I believe is in Scotland.
Elgin.
Elgin, beg your pardon, Elgin Youth Cafe, a session. This is the cybersecurity one. Cybersecurity, keep your organization safe online. And this is an in-person training in cyber resilience for third sector practitioners in Moray. With the increased capability of using digital systems comes a level of risk. Join people at this session for an engaging half-day event tailored specifically for third sector organizations looking to stay safe online. And the promise of the session is after attending this training, you will one, understand what cybersecurity and cyber resilience is, two, learn the tools, knowledge, and connections needed to improve your cyber resilience, and three, start to build your incident response plan. And it says who should attend, anyone working or volunteering for a third sector organization in Moray. It will particularly benefit leaders and those responsible for IT who are at the beginning of their cyber resilience journey and who are not sure where to start. So again, it's getting a bit of help so you can be more confident and probably help others as well. I picked this one out because I have been hearing some stories about online fraud and so on online recently, and um there was something if Colette Weston, who's someone I follow on LinkedIn, published something about an increase in attacks online. So I wanted to bring this one up as an
Mm,
opportunity for people
mm.
in Moray. That is in Scotland, isn't it?
That's northeast of Scotland. Yes, it's the next bit along to the west from Aberdeenshire. Rather.
Hmm.
It's between Inverness and Aberdeenshire and
Yeah.
Aberdeen.
So that's an in-person session, but I'm sure if somebody had some queries, they would be happy to maybe respond to an email or something from somebody who might want to learn some more and get some help with them with the others. There are other resources available which we will come on to as well later in the program. And I think is this my third and final one?
This
Oh
is
no,
your
you've
third
got
one,
another one.
yes?
It's my
No,
third and final, but not
your
not
third.
not ours. Okay, okay. So this is on Wednesday, 26th of November. This is a kind of hybrid and live Q&A event. So attending in person and online, and this is called Trans Camera Action: Transgender and Non-Binary Supports through Oppositional Filmmaking Practice. And it's, as I say, hybrid screening and live Q&A presented by London Met School of Computing and Digital Media, the Queer Decolonial Network, an independent group under the Queer Media, Culture and Politics module at the School of Computing and Digital Media at London Metropolitan University, invites colleagues, students and the public to this hybrid screening and live Q&A. And the event comprises a portfolio of 6 short films created through digital and analog filmmaking practice as research methods in conjunction with trans studies theory. This combination allows for a meaningful exploration of the construction and impact of trans and non-binary media representations, as seen through several interviews with trans and non-binary people, mostly based in the UK. And this event is also supported by the Trans Plus Virtual Centre of Excellence. And again, one I thought would be interesting to people we kind of have following us online, so in person or online, because it's not always common these days to have an option, a
No,
hybrid option. So it's
it's great.
something that we any of us could might want to have a look at. So
I,
that's the end of my events. Swain, you've got an event.
I did one at the very last minute. Oh,
Mm,
excuse me. I'm going to sneeze.
mm-hmm.
I'm going to sneeze. I'm going to sneeze. There now. The one I found is I was actually booked to attend it, but
Ah,
I can't on Wednesday now because I'm working. So that's the
mm-hmm.
end of that. It's an event by Digital Leads, and
Uh-huh.
it is called Demystifying Devices for Digital Inclusion. And it's an online event, obviously, because I wasn't going to Leeds tomorrow
Mm-hmm.
or Wednesday rather. And it says, build your confidence in buying the right devices for your digital inclusion project, ensuring value for money and maximum impact. In this online meeting, 100% digital leads and circular IT specialists,
Mm-hmm.
Reconome, will share their knowledge and expertise to help you confidently purchase the right devices for your digital inclusion project, ensuring value for money and maximum social impact. Reconome, Reconome, I should have looked up how to say this, play a key role in supporting access to devices for digitally excluded people, directly addressing the digital divide, and they are an accredited tech partner for the Good Things Foundation, powering the National Device Bank, and have previously partnered with Hubbub on their community calling program. The event will be online via Teams, and the meeting link will be emailed to attendees before the event. The event is aimed at organizations delivering digital inclusion and support for people in Leeds, organizational staff and volunteers with low or technical knowledge, organizations looking to buy devices for use within their digital inclusion sessions, and organizations looking to buy devices to lend or gift to to service users. And it will cover all sorts of things, including smartphones, tablets, laptops, Chromebooks, and understanding the key features of each so that you can choose the right devices for the most impact. Making sense of device specifications, jargon and terminology. This is my favorite one. Balancing functionality with value for money. And then also understanding minimum specifications for device safety. That'll be to do with
Mm.
Windows 10 and Windows 11 and
Oh,
and, and,
yeah.
that- and related subjects. All devices have those issues.
Mm.
Um, but that's good to see that on the list as well. And also considering accessibility and connectivity, and also the pros and cons of buying new equipment versus buying, or I dare say, obtaining reconditioned. So I thought that was
Mm.
quite a good event there. And although it's aimed at people in Leeds, I'm sure they won't mind a certain number of interlopers from other parts of the country kind of joining in too.
Great. Very valuable, very valuable advice to have. In fact, I heard somebody only recently, and I hadn't heard anybody in my circles talking about it previously. Somebody I know who has bought a reconditioned device from Refurbed. I think it's an Irish refurb project, and so it's great to hear people just chatting about this, as a
Yes,
part as a matter of course now. So it's
absolutely.
yeah, good, good.
And I think the focus on the fact that there are kind of horses for courses in terms of devices is quite welcome as well.
Mm,
Because we've mentioned many times that if you buy a top end device when it's not really needed, then you're not having the impact
mm,
you might have because you're going to get less of them for the money you have.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah.
good.
On the other hand, there are some applications where more capable devices are absolutely essential. So you need to
Mm,
know what those are
yeah.
and not disappoint yourself by buying devices that can't do what you want to achieve.
Yeah, I think it's good to because I think up to recently uh I think people might have felt that IT was for other people, not for them, and that kind of knowledge. And it's good to see that knowledge being shared out in the community because it's you can't not everybody, as we say often say as well, not everybody can know everything. So it's good to
That's right.
know bits and pieces more and to be able to ask questions. And it comes back to the confidence of being able to say, well, does that is that really true? Does that make sense? It
Yeah.
doesn't sound right to
What does
me.
this mean?
Yeah,
Yeah. Any of
yeah,
that stuff. Yeah, that's
absolutely.
right.
Yeah. So we press on. We were hoping to have a guest today, our friend Casper Kennerdale, but unfortunately he's had a slight accident. Nothing serious, we hope. But he wasn't able to join us today, and we wish him well and speedy recovery, and we hope
Indeed.
that he can join us again in a week or two. So all best wishes, Casper. Look after yourself. Okay, so we have some stories then to share with you and information. One is the first one I've got is the Network of Nonprofit Digital Support, which is a group on LinkedIn, which we sometimes talk about on this program, and it is an opportunity to get digital support, free digital support for organisations in the third sector, fully funded by Esme Fairbairn Foundation and others. And it's a collaborative initiative convened by CAST, which is an organisation based in England. This collective project brings together various organisations and initiatives to provide tailored digital support for individuals working in the third sector. Whether you need training, webinars, help finding a digital partner, or one-on-one, consultations, the network offers a range of resources to empower nonprofits in adopting digital tools and strategies. The goal is to make it easier for charities and social organizations to access the digital expertise they need to thrive. And the initiatives and programs are Digital Candle,
Wow.
Reuse Infrastructure, Digital Trustees, Design Hops, The Curve, Dovetail, Digital Leads Network, LEADS, and Agencies for Good. And I can give you a bit more detail about each of these initiatives from their website. Digital Candle is a platform offering free 1 hour consultations with digital experts to help charities tackle digital challenges. And I have often referred people to that, and I still do refer people to it, so it's very helpful. I think some people can't quite believe that it's for free. And my understanding anecdotally is that they don't, you don't have to keep to 1 hour. You might get a bit of extra help to sort out your issue. So I'd highly recommend them. Reuse infrastructure creates the structures that enable civil society organizations to reuse best in class ethical technology and sector developed research, insight, and assets, and to support them to contribute towards sharing this collective ambition. The third element is digital trustees, and this is a project that aims to match charities with digital experts who can serve as trustees, helping to bring a digital perspective to board level decision making. And our friends at Third Sector Lab often run sessions on this and um, networking, kind of speed networking, speed matching sessions, and digital trustees are available now to help charities who wish to use them, and I would highly recommend that as a thing to do. The next one is Design Hubs, and this is a 7-week online program focused on teaching innovative digital techniques, helping organizations to explore and develop digital solutions. The next one is The Curve, and again, I think this is run by friends at the Third Sector Lab, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but we can follow that up. These are 90-minute workshops providing practical hands-on training sessions for charities looking to build their digital skills. The next one in the list is Dovetail, which is a collaboration platform that connects digital agencies with charities to foster ethical, impactful partnerships. And again, one I've often recommended when people are looking for someone to, provide a service to them. So it's good to know what kind of agencies are out there that have a mindset that helps voluntary organizations more than commercial ones. The second last one in the list is the Digital Leads Network, LEADS, as I spelled before. This is aimed at supporting those leading digital projects within their organizations, offering peer support and resources to drive digital transformation. And that's the network that I've been part of in the past and I'm still part of now. And finally, Agencies for Good, a network that fosters collaboration and knowledge sharing among digital professionals and charities. So it's a whole range of um, opportunities and kind of learning offers there for people who want to improve what they're doing digitally in their organization. And have you had contact with any of those, Swain?
No, I haven't. This is all news to me, I must admit.
Mm.
But it's all very, very interesting. I followed the Facebook, not Facebook. What is it? LinkedIn page.
Mm.
So maybe I'll learn more that way. I have heard of the Esme Fairbairn Foundation because
Mm.
it used to fund the St Magnus Festival here in Orkney,
Oh,
which is
okay.
completely different sector, but
Mm.
it's a very large funding body.
Absolutely.
It's
One
good
of
to
the
see it.
biggest in the
Yeah,
charitable
yeah,
foundations world.
yeah.
And they seem to have lately really taken on board the digital needs
Yes,
for the sector and are funding this
yes,
to
that's
a great
great.
extent, which is
It's great to see.
fantastic. The funder that used to fund a lot in this space was a Comic Relief, but I don't think they're doing as much anymore. So it's good to
Right.
see somebody else has stepped into the breach there,
Yes.
because it's
Yes,
still
indeed.
very much needed. But yeah,
I've got.
if you want to contact any of those, or if any representatives of any of those groups want to come on the program and
Mm,
talk about what they do, we'd be delighted to have you. I believe, as I say, Third Sector Lab has dealings with several of them. Um, and Ross McCullough is always a friend to us
mm,
and
that's right.
a good person to be in touch with for any of that work. Okay, we're staying with Scotland as it happens, because the next article is by Fiona Colligan, who's a public sector and higher education consultant. And this is another one I found on LinkedIn. And the heading is Curious about Scotland's Digital Inclusion Alliance. Um, and this was published on the 18th of November. And it starts off by saying nobody wakes up in the morning and thinks, I want to be digitally included, which we can relate to. But it is true, Fiona goes on to say that more people are feeling the profound impacts of marginalisation from society as it becomes more digital. This marginalisation can be for many reasons through service design failure, through lack of access, the challenges of affordability, the loss of confidence and trust. Sometimes exclusion can be an active choice about how far to participate in digital society, and this may not be connected to levels of access to devices, connectivity, or skills. This is
Mm-hmm.
digital exclusion, an increasingly complex inequality experienced by many across the UK. So I'm not sure I've copied all of the article into my grid, but I'll read on what I have got in. So it goes on to talk about respectful disruption, how the DIA, that's the Digital Inclusion Alliance in Scotland, thinks systemically. The systemic challenges around digital inclusion don't live in one place. Their solutions require cross-sector coordination and a collective will. This is why we are adopting a model for the DIA that sparks innovation by convening the people and organisations who hold the levers of change. By levers, we mean the material sources of influence: investment, policy, strategy, regulation, legislation, convening power, expertise, evidence, and data that collectively and individually can shape decisions. This is a system thinking approach. System thinking reshapes the relationships, incentives, and structures across a whole system so solutions scale, adapt, and produce lasting change rather than fixing isolated systems. And I think I'm sure we've talked about that previously. So the article goes on the article goes on to talk about 4 programs and 1 mission. Between now and March 2027, the DIA's work is organized into 4 complementary programs that together drive systemic change. Each program plays a distinct role in the model. Number 1, the Challenge program pilots mission-driven solutions at scale. Number 2, the Local to National program embeds place-based capacity and local policy alignment. Number 3, the Sector Insight Programme surfaces structural barriers and unlocks sectoral action. And number 4, the Free Challenge Fund Programme seeds the diagnostic and co-design work that makes pilots commissionable. So there's a lot more in the article. It was quite long. Is there anything else that jumps out at you, Sweyn, from all of that?
No, I had missed this one until you brought it to my attention this morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to see. I must say, those 4 programs are very hard to understand. What is a mission-driven solution at scale? I'm afraid that doesn't say anything immediate to me at all.
Mm,
Uh, and embedding place-based capacity and local policy and alignment, what does that actually mean?
mm,
No doubt, if you read deeper in, it'll be clear. But I'm a bit slightly alarmed that this is very jargon-ridden and very
right.
kind of, how should I put it, aspirational.
Mm,
Um, maybe that's all fine. Maybe this is all worked out. And I mean the Scottish government and others in Scotland have spent a long time, a couple of years, sort of thinking this through and coming up with this approach. So I certainly hope that it starts making progress very quickly now that it is finally established.
mm.
But I think to anybody wanting to get involved in this, those 4 statements of mission are not very meaningful, I'm afraid.
Well, fortunately, as I spoke this to you about this offline,
Mm,
they are looking for people to get involved. And if
mm.
you're able to bring up the article again and scroll down, it
Oh,
does.
the opportunities, yes,
Yes,
yes.
exactly.
I will
They're
share
looking
that
for
right away.
innovation community associates. Um, they're
Okay,
looking for
what?
5 energetic advisors, they're describing them as, with a system seeking focus to help shape the DIA's governance and launch its 4 core programs. This, they say, is a short-term role where associates will act as advisors and relationship builders, designing and stress testing governance, bringing fresh perspectives, mobilizing networks for delivery and delivering and driving rapid learning and visible impact that build trust and credibility across communities, partners, and funders. So the person who wrote the article, Fiona Colligan, is asking people to DM her or email. There's an email address on the article which will be in our show notes. And the closing date is 28th November. So if anybody's who's listening wants to be considered for that, they need to get their application in by, that's the end of the week, isn't it? 24th, 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 25th,
Yes,
26th, 27th. Yeah, Friday, 28th November. And then the second opportunity is inviting people to join the first DIA challenge process to reimagine how we deliver devices, data, and support in a way that is sustainable, scalable, and rooted in long-term impact. They say we will explore bold, innovative models that realign investment, reshape delivery, and embed digital access as a lasting right. It's about building a shared infrastructure for inclusion. By bringing your leadership, resources, and innovation to this challenge, you can help shape a future where digital access is embedded. And again, an email address, the same email address for the innovation uh, associates is one. So Fiona Colligan is the point person to contact about those matters. And you know, a lot of people we recognise are in the copied into the
yes. No,
uh,
but just great to see. I mean,
forum.
I
Yeah.
think I think the approach when you can burrow down through the language into finding out what it is really,
Mm,
really good. And I think that the Scottish government is serious about getting beyond the quick fix.
mm,
And they've come up against a little bit of friction and resistance from people who are already active in the field of digital inclusion in Scotland,
Mm,
saying that to some extent maybe there's a bit of reinventing the wheel going on here. But I think if the if the focus on rigorous partnership, cross-sectoral working together uh, can bear fruit, I think that is worth a go.
mm,
It's certainly worth putting a lot of effort into that because that is what in the end is required. You
mm,
need all the various agencies with all their various expertises to be to be involved at some suitable level of detail or funding or whatever it is.
mm,
And Scotland is a relatively um, small. There's relatively few public sector organisations in Scotland, certainly compared to England. So, for example, there's only 32 councils as opposed to 300 and something in England.
mm,
So it could or should be possible to make progress on this. I think the language needs a bit of a check through humanization,
mm,
frankly. But otherwise, this is great.
mm.
Yeah,
I'm sure our friends in the More Collective will be looking at it with interest,
I'm sure they will.
as they have talked to us about so much previously in the past. Yeah.
I'm sure they will. Um,
Okay.
be interesting to see if we can get Fiona or somebody, one of her team,
Mm,
on the show. It would be good
that'd
to
be
have a
great.
chat
Yeah. Yeah.
with that.
Let's
That
see
was
if we can do that.
yes.
Okay. Moving on, we have a couple of stories from not the UK, and one not even Europe. Our next story is from Zambia, and this is a story by David Adlam, an enterprise architect, again published on LinkedIn. And the heading is Zambia's digital blitz when talk in a what do you call those quotation marks turns
Yes.
into gigabytes, also in quotation marks, and GDP in brackets. And the this sounded like a very hopeful story. David writes, while some nations are still debating the digital divide, Zambia is quite clearly bridging it. The Digital Economy Roundtable, convened by the Presidential Delivery Unit and the Ministry of Technology and Science, wasn't just another talk shop at the Intercontinental Hotel. It was a strategic huddle of over 60 public, private, and development sector heavyweights, all laser focused on one thing: advancing inclusive digital transformation. As the Honourable Felix Motati, Minister of Technology and Science, wisely put it, digital inclusion is about empowering citizens, traders, farmers, and students alike. In a world grappling with digital exclusion and its societal costs, Zambia isn't just offering internet, it's offering opportunity. The article goes on to say the results are nothing short of impressive, especially when viewed against international benchmarks for developing economies. The GDP powered by pixels in 2024, the ICT sector contributed nearly half of Zambia's 4% GDP growth. This isn't just economic contribution, it's a testament to digital as a primary engine of national development, a trend observed in countries like Vietnam and Rwanda, where digital leapfrogging has driven significant economic expansion. Towers, not just talk, with over 3,600 new communication towers deployed, resulting in 13.5 million internet subscriptions. That's 300 plus towers since 2021. Zambia is addressing foundational connectivity. This infrastructure drive directly tackles the last mile problem that plagues many emerging markets, echoing the early infrastructure push seen in South Korea's digital rise. And the final bullet point of this section is ZAM-free Wi-Fi, the public good of connectivity. This initiative, providing free Wi-Fi to 8,500 plus users in markets, bus stations, and public places in less than a year, is a masterclass in direct citizen empowerment. It's a strategy that recognizes connectivity as a basic utility, um, akin to initiatives in smart cities worldwide that offer free public access to bridge socio-economic gaps. The article goes on to talk about the private sector investing in tomorrow today. The private sector's investment of over 1 billion kwacha, that's the Zambian currency. There's 30 kwacha to one English pound, British pound, sorry. isn't charity, it's smart business. These companies understand that a digitally empowered populace is a more productive, more engaged, and ultimately a more profitable market. And it says their impact is comprehensive. Near universal coverage, expanding network coverage to 96% of the population is an astounding achievement, setting Zambia apart in its commitment to broadband access. Skills for the future. Over 15,000 youth skilled for employment and entrepreneurship is a direct investment in human capital, mirroring initiatives like India's Digital India push to equip its massive youth population. Education revolution, digitizing schools for 1 million plus learners and training 10,000 plus school staff isn't just about internet access, it's about transforming pedagogy and future proofing the education system. Health at your fingertips, providing 738 health rooms and reaching 1.5 million primary learners in rural areas through digital means means highlights the critical role of technology in enhancing public services. Sorry, I've missed my space. Enhancing public services. I beg your pardon. Particularly in healthcare access, a challenge many nations face. And the final bullet point in this section, affordable access, subsidizing 10,000 plus 4G smartphones directly addresses the affordability barrier, a crucial step in ensuring digital inclusion isn't just for the affluent. So it goes on to talk about the dirt and the success of that. But it sounds like Zambia is doing really well and might be a good model for other countries.
Yes, it sounds very, very exciting.
Mm,
There's a lot of issues packed into each of those bullet points,
mm,
but the fact that they're all in one place and that they're taking a kind of national approach is really good to see. There's about 20 million people in Zambia, I've just looked up.
mm.
So that provides a kind of scale for where they're at in terms of the entire population of the country.
Mm,
But it's really good to see. It's what, 335 million pounds or something that they're spending on this.
mm,
It's quite a lot.
quite good, yeah. The commitment apparently is 80% internet access and digital literacy by 2030, which I think is a good goal to
Yeah,
have. Yeah,
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Moving on to another country that's not the UK, where we're now going to be talking about Switzerland. And on the 21st of November, um, was Digital Inclusion Day, I think is what they call it in Switzerland. Where are we? Yeah, the Allianz Digitale Inclusion Schweiz, ADIS for short, marked the Day of Digital Inclusion to highlight a simple truth. Our digital future must work for everyone, not just for those who already feel confident online, referencing back confidence to in our earlier discussion on the programme. So in Switzerland, recent data suggests that around a third of the population has little or no basic digital skills and is therefore at risk of exclusion from everyday digital services. This affects how people access public services, manage money, apply for jobs, and stay connected. And I really like this. It's another very long article, so we will provide a link, obviously, in our show notes. Um, but it's a very good overview of what's going on in the country. I'm surprised actually to hear that around a third of the population in Switzerland has little or no basic digital skills. I think I always think of
Wow.
European countries having more than the UK, but not necessarily. So this person, Patrick Federer, who wrote this article, is a UX professional, and he's writing to say that UX professionals, he says, we sit right at this fault line. The choices we make in research, interaction design, content, and product strategy influence who can participate, who gets frustrated, and who quietly gives up.
Mhm.
And so I think there's a lot for others to learn from this. Um, so this article looks at what digital inclusion means today and outlines concrete steps UX teams can take starting at the next sprint. So, encouraging people to think about it immediately. So I will read out the 6 things UX professionals can start doing now, and there are some details for each of them, which, as I say, we'll put the link in the show notes so you can follow it up yourself. But the first one was put excluded people at the center of your research. Digital inclusion will not emerge from lab tests with tech savvy users. So, good
Yes.
ideas there how to do that. Second thing is sorry, it says for that one, the goal is not to speak for excluded users, but to give them space to show you where the real barriers are. Very, very accurate summary there. Number two is designed for low digital skills by default. Well, obviously, if you designing for the lowest possible denominator, you will then scoop up everybody else. Um, the blurb for this says a large share of people struggle with patterns that seasoned designers consider obvious,
Mm,
and it's a design problem, not a user problem.
mm.
And it gives some concrete measures for that. Ask yourself in every flow, could someone who rarely uses digital services still complete this without help? So good, very good advice there. I think we're getting coming to what do you call that? Like in religion, the guidelines, whatever the tablets. What this is going to be our tablets of
Tablets of
stone, I think, for
stone.
a while. Sweyn. Number three, make accessibility a non-negotiable baseline. Digital inclusion is impossible if people with disabilities cannot use your product. WCAG, that's the web access regulations, gives you a solid technical and design baseline for web and mobile, and it is referenced by laws worldwide. So that's good to know, and that
Mm,
gives some guidance then for UX teams. If you do not have internal expertise yet, use external specialists, learn from them, and build that knowledge into your design system. Number four, use inclusive design methods, not just checklists. Accessibility checklists are necessary, but they are not sufficient. Inclusive design frameworks
mm.
help teams think systemically about diversity and exclusion. And it gives some more guidance there. The key mindset shift, every design decision is a choice about who we include and who we leave out, even unintentionally. Number five of these six, design journeys include assisted and offline support. For many people at risk of digital exclusion, the most inclusive journey is a hybrid one.
Here,
We,
here.
we do like mentioning hybrid on here. Digital inclusion does not mean pushing everyone into a fully self service online flow. It means giving people real options that respect their abilities, preferences, and life situations. And finally, number six, make inclusion visible in your metrics and governance. What product teams measure is what gets prioritized, and has suggestions for extending the UX metrics. Um, and it goes on to talk about governance level with what design leaders could do. And we all know that, if decisions aren't being made at board level, then they won't get percolated down. So, um, it kind of finishes up by saying legislation is making accessibility non-optional, bringing digital inclusion into your KPIs turns this from last-minute compliance fix into a strategic capability. So again, some very useful guidance there that could be used by many of our colleagues in the UK and other parts of the world. We probably do get viewed. I think our statistics for where we get viewed are mostly UK, but if there are other places, I think they can all learn from this as well. Okay, I've got two more items which I think we should have time to fit in, and
Hmm.
the second last one is about the Welsh Government. We don't want our colleagues in Wales to feel left out by our discussions any day, but especially not today as well. This is the Welsh Government launching a new digital inclusion grant aimed at boosting digital confidence and access. And the grant will fund community projects that support people who struggle to use digital devices or navigate online services, providing help with essential skills, confidence building, and access to equipment. And ministers say the scheme is designed to ensure no one is excluded as more vital services from banking and benefits to GP appointments move primarily online. Those without digital confidence can face significant disadvantages, including financial hardship, social isolation, and poorer health outcomes. And the grant has been welcomed already by organisations working with groups most at risk of digital exclusion. Ashley Bale, who we've mentioned in previous shows, Digital Innovations Manager at
Mm.
the Innovative Trust, says funding has the potential to truly transform lives. This is a fantastic opportunity for organisations across Wales to apply for funding that can make a real difference, he said. The grant will help people not just meet the minimum digital living standards, but to reach far beyond them. Being digitally included opens doors to essential services, employment, and connection. And the program is open to a broad range of organisations, including community groups, social enterprises, charities, faith groups, and public and private sector bodies. And there's two types of funding available. There's the core grant, supporting longer term projects shaped by local need for up to 3 years, and around £390,000 will be available annually, with typical individual awards of about 43,500, and the innovation grant, aimed at short-term projects testing new and creative ideas to help people to get online. A total pot of 60,000 is available, with standard awards of around 15,000. I would hope, Swain, that the innovation grant would allow projects to not succeed. That something could be
Yes,
tested,
yes.
piloted, and maybe not work. Because we need kind of failure as much as we need success to know
Yes.
what actually does work. The scheme builds on lessons from earlier Wales-wide digital inclusion programmes and the Welsh Government's work in developing a minimal digital living standard. And applications opened on the 17th of November and they close on the 9th of February 2026. There's plenty of time for our Welsh colleagues to apply for that. But as I say, I hope they do allow for some experimentation, trying things out and not necessarily having to succeed all the time.
Absolutely. And that's, well, I guess that's kind of a Welsh take on what the Digital Inclusion Alliance in Scotland was aiming at
Mm,
too. And I like the balance there between, um, I think it's about three quarters or four fifths in terms of implementing things we know work, and a quarter or a fifth of the funding looking at innovations and what might work. So I think
mm,
that's quite a good balance, really. Of course, Wales is even smaller than Scotland in terms of governance, so
mm,
it may be that the issues that Scotland is seem to be very focused on in terms of governance structures and um, inter-organizational partnerships. It may be that in Wales that's even more straightforward than it is in
mm.
Scotland. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, and our final item, which we have a long extract from it on our grid, but we will just provide the link in the show notes. This is the Digital Inclusion uh, APPG, All
All
Parliamentary
party
All
parliamentary
Party
group.
Parliamentary Group, their fourth State of the Nation report, which actually took me some effort to track down, would you believe? I heard it had been published only last week, in fact, but I was able eventually to track it down, thanks to an item on a LinkedIn report. But it did take some searching. So I'm glad I'm a librarian and journalist, and I can persist and follow, because
Indeed.
when you know something's there, um, it's good to be able to get it in the end. Anyway, um, the recommendations of the this State of the Nation report. I'm going to just read out the kind of headlines, and then as usual, the link will be in the show notes. So the recommendations are for digital inclusion to be a centrally led and coordinated program, and it references the DCIT Digital Inclusion Action Plan being welcomed, but we need more objectives for individual government departments to feed into the work, and the report does list lots of things, including references to the NHS 10-year plan, strategic objective of shifting from analog to digital, which we've talked about on the show previously. Also reference to digital IDs and digital transformation. Um, and the next recommendation is to design a sustainable funding model for digital inclusion by innovating funding across government and alongside industry. And the hope is this should align with the broader strategic objectives of government departments set out in recommendation 1. So I'm actually just reading off the screen, so it's kind of quite detailed. Maybe you can read it better there, Sweyn, in your the way you have it on your screen.
Are you wanting just a brief?
Just the
The
headlines, just
Yeah,
the
the
numbers.
third recommendation is to accelerate investment in affordable, high quality broadband and mobile infrastructure.
Mm,
The fourth is to design a local digital inclusion framework, and this means that DCIT, do we say DCIT, should
mm-hmm,
work with local and regional authorities to design a framework through which authorities can design and deliver local digital inclusion programs and collect and share digital inclusion data centrally. Again, that chimes with what was being talked about for Scotland and for Wales,
mm-hmm,
because I'm pretty much sure that this is mainly focusing in England.
mm,
This report. Um, the fifth recommendation is that to raise awareness and offer clear signposting, and this is about using existing channels to raise awareness of digital inclusion initiatives in national and place-based approaches. The sixth recommendation is to expand the number of zero-rated websites, including all online government services.
Mm.
Don't understand that one. The department should conduct a financial review into the cost of zero rating all government estates and work with service providers to assess the feasibility of zero rating further website, including certified educational services and debt advice websites. I guess that's to do with VAT.
Y-
I, th- I think
Um,
that's
yeah.
I think that's VAT that they're talking about there.
Mm.
It's not pretty, but no, good stuff. That's
Mm.
the 6 recommendations.
Yeah.
Uh,
And the report itself is like, I think it's up to 40 pages on the report, so it's well
yes, I
worth
had to go to page
delving into.
42 for I had to
Yeah.
get to page
Yeah.
42 for the recommendations. So there we are.
Yeah. So, thanks to the APPG and all the people on it for
Mm,
putting that together. Again, we would love to have somebody on to talk about that.
mm.
I think it was the Digital Poverty Alliance where I initially saw it being mentioned, and then as I say, tracked it down elsewhere. Um, but a recommendation or a request to those of you who do mention things like that on your socials, please do provide a link so that we can follow up and find it more
Yes.
easily.
Do
Um,
you have a link for that?
yeah,
I find
exactly.
myself
I
commenting.
I do ask that often. Even if it has to go in the comments because some platforms don't like it when
Yes,
you
that's
link
no, that's
directly.
true. That's true.
So please do that. And that brings us to the end of this week's show. We hope that you enjoyed and learned something from the material that we've been able to track down, and that you find it useful and keep listening and telling your friends about how great the Talk Tech show is, so we can keep going and find it of benefit to others. So thanks for joining us, and do have a good week. Take care. Bye bye
Thank
now.
you. Bye.